a shepherd who killed the Greek god. In the village of Thena, a powerful and evil beast called the Minotaur demands 8 youths as sacrifices every year. Theo, a brave boy, decides to fight the Minotaur to free his lover. Will he succeed in defeating this godlike creature? Hello everyone, it's recap time. Today, we will be diving into the story of the mystical horror film Minotaur from the year 2006. So, let's start. The narrator begins the story by referencing ancient times often mentioned in mythology. There was a dark empire on the island of Minos, where people worshipped a god called the Minotaur, the most powerful of all gods. However, the people became selfish and desired a god in a living form. The queen gave birth to such a creature, a being that was part god and part human, which was cut from her body to ensure its safe birth. The evil newborn ruled the empire. The narrator mentions that his village, Thena, had to pay a heavy price for killing a royal prince. They were forced to sacrifice 8 youths to the Minotaur. The Minotaur Empire appeared unbeatable. As the time for the 5th sacrifice approached, Theo and his brother Danu notice an old woman with her face covered who appears to be a leper. Danu says she brings bad omens and predicts that something bad is about to happen, possibly that soldiers are coming. Theo returns and tells his father, the village leader, about Danu's prediction. His father dismisses Danu's words, saying he often talks nonsense. Theo then mentions that he still misses Fionn, his lover who was taken as a sacrifice. He questions how long they will continue sacrificing their people to the beast. His father responds that Fionn is gone, and Theo needs to move on, reminding him that he will lead the village someday. Theo looks at his locket, which is missing a piece. Meanwhile, Danu visits his lover, Morna. He gives her a gift and asks her to say his name, but instead, she kisses him. A man argues with Theo's father, expressing frustration about continuing the sacrifices, fearing that Theo might be taken next. Theo's father reassures him that the soldiers won't take Theo because he plans to send him out of the village. Later, a girl named Didi approaches Theo and says his father told her to stay with him. Theo confesses that he still loves Fionn. Theo then goes outside and fights with Tyro, who claims that he loves Fionn more and that she would still be alive if she had been with him. The people around them eventually break up the fight. Theo sees a wolf trying to attack a lamb. He starts walking toward them, but before he can reach them, the wolf captures and kills the lamb. Theo follows the wolf and notices a mark on a tree. One half of the mark matches his locket, and the other half belongs to Fionn. He then sees a leper woman and follows her into a cave. Theo tells her about the mark, and she reveals that Fionn is alive. She was taken but not sacrificed, and is waiting for Theo. Theo returns to his father and shares the news that Fionn is still alive. His father insists that the leper is lying and advises Theo to leave the village, telling him to come back only after the soldiers are gone. Theo boards a boat and begins his journey. Meanwhile, behind him, soldiers arrive in the village. Theo's father, the village leader, tells the soldiers to take the first 8 young people they find, arguing that the village has already given enough and should now be spared. The soldiers start capturing people. The leper's words about Fionn, waiting for Theo, echo in his mind, so he decides to return. He helps one person escape and takes their place among the captured youths. When they wake up, they find themselves in a cage. Inside the cage are Danu, Morna, Didi, Tyro, Theo, 2 girls named Vina, and a nun. Theo mentions his desire to kill the beast. Tyro mocks him, saying that the creature is their god, but it doesn't mean he fears him. Didi shares that her mother used to say the devil is white from the bile of all the children he's devoured. Vina dismisses this, calling Didi's mother foolish and saying her daughter is foolish too. They are then brought before King Deucalion and Queen Raphaela at the palace. Deucalion commands them to kneel. The soldiers pull Morna and Vina out of the group and present them to the king and queen. Theo objects, saying that the girls won't please God because they are innocent. Deucalion responds that virgins always please God quickly, and asks Theo for his name. Theo tells him it's Shepherd. Deucalion is smoking a gas, and Raphaela inhales the gas, and then kisses both girls. Deucalion approaches the entrance to the underground den of the Minotaur and calls out, saying the flesh is ready, and if the Minotaur doesn't come, he'll eat it himself. A tremor shakes the ground. Theo stands and attacks a soldier, but is quickly overpowered. Raphaela orders that they all be taken back, saying they will be sacrificed together. Back in prison, they argue that God is supposed to be in the skies, but since the bull is underground, it means he's not a god, but a beast that can be killed. The nun objects, insisting that the beast is a god and they must submit and sacrifice themselves to him. Meanwhile, Raphaela secretly orders her loyal concubine Rumela to bring Theo to her without the king's knowledge. She wants to see if Theo can help her, as the leper had suggested. Rumela brings Theo to Raphaela's room, where she becomes intimate with him, saying she wants to bear his child. Theo, however, pushes her away, asking what she wants. Raphaela confesses that she was told she needs his help to escape the beast, and promises to help him find Theon in return. At that moment, Deucalion enters the room and scolds Raphaela for being with Theo. He decides to punish Theo by throwing him to the devil, and warns Raphaela that she could also be thrown to the beast for her actions. Deucalion then throws everyone, including Theo, into a hole that leads to the Minotaur's den. They all fall into different places. Theo starts searching for his companions. Meanwhile, the beast appears and kills the nun. Deucalion demands that Raphaela bear his child to strengthen their union, but she refuses and jumps into the hole, preferring to be devoured by the beast. Before jumping, she gives a secret nod to Rumela. Theo eventually finds Morna, and Danu finds Vina. Soon after, Theo reunites with Danu. They all decide to search for a way to escape after finding the rest of their companions. Vina argues that they shouldn't wait for the others, insisting they are already dead and they should escape. They hear a noise nearby and discover Tyro, who shows them a broken horn of the beast. He finds it among the rocks and warns that the beast is much larger than a wolf. Theo declares that he will kill the beast. Suddenly, they feel someone fall into the hole, and Raphaela lands in front of them. Vina angrily asks what she is doing there. Raphaela claims she's there to help and knows the way out. She says she has her maid opening the door. Vina warns Theo not to trust her, but he refuses to listen. Frustrated, Vina announces she's leaving them and declares her hatred for them and the village. As she speaks, the Minotaur appears and stabs her through the mouth with its horn, killing her instantly. The others flee in terror. Meanwhile, Deucalion prays to the Minotaur statue, asking it not to harm Raphaela, promising to offer it the blood of virgins and the flesh of newborns. Rumela, trying to open the secret door out of the basement, is caught by Deucalion, who punishes her for attempting to release the nightmare into the human world. Raphaela explains that the gas they inhale comes from the center of the labyrinth. She assures them that her maid is waiting by the secret door of the labyrinth to let them out. On the way, they find Didi, who tells them she had a horrible dream. Raphaela leads them to the door and calls for Rumela to open it. There is no response. Raphaela knocks repeatedly, but nothing happens. Tyro steps forward, angrily trying to force the door open, accusing Raphaela of tricking them and saying there is no escape. Suddenly, they hear the beast's roars. Danu blames Theo, saying he should not have trusted Raphaela and that she has led them straight to her god. He also insists that the Minotaur is a beast, not a god, and that no man can kill it. Morna urges Theo not to fight. Meanwhile, Didi finds Tyro sitting by a pool of water and apologizes for being scared. Tyro consoles her, and she asks why he dislikes Theo so much. Tyro reveals that he believes Fionn wouldn't have been taken if she hadn't been with Theo. Didi confesses that she always liked Tyro, but he never noticed her. Didi and Tyro then plan to climb their way out of the hole. Didi makes Tyro promise that if they escape, they will always stay together. Tyro starts climbing the rocks, with Didi following, but suddenly the beast appears, pulling Didi down and killing her. Tyro screams and cries for her. Morna, Danu, and Theo encounter a man named Torag, who has been living in the hole for years, surviving on hops and rats. Theo asks him if he's seen any other survivors, but Torag avoids the question, saying that this place is blessed. Theo confides in Danu that he needs to find the leper, because she told him Fionn is alive. Danu becomes angry, accusing Theo of caring only about Fionn and not about the village or the others. He insists that Theo must accept that Fionn is dead. Theo grabs Torag, demanding to know where Fionn is, and begins to forcefully question him. Danu, disillusioned, tells Theo that he no longer sees him as a brother, but as a beast. The cave starts to shake, with rocks falling around them. Meanwhile, Deucalion continues praying to the Minotaur, begging for the return of his sister. He shouts into the hole, urging her to flee. As the cave shakes, Theo searches desperately for Fionn. Suddenly, he sees her and immediately hugs her, telling her how long he has waited for this moment and how much he has missed her. Fionn replies that the leper said Theo would come and that they had been waiting for him. Suddenly, Fionn turns into a terrifying skeleton in Theo's arms. Horrified, Theo throws her away, frightened, and begins to vomit. As he looks around, he finds Fionn's real skeleton nearby, finally accepting that she is dead. The cave shakes again, and Danu, worried about Theo, starts praying for him. Suddenly, he notices the beast and shouts in fear. Realizing Danu is in danger, Theo shouts back, but the beast attacks Danu, killing him. Theo cries and screams, realizing that he brought everyone into this nightmare because of his love for Fionn. Theo then finds Rafaela, who asks him about Fionn. He tells her that Fionn is dead, and that what he saw wasn't real. Theo curses the love that led him here, but Rafaela explains that the king and queen tried to create a god, but instead, they created an evil creature that killed their royal prince. To save their reputation, they blamed the village and began taking youths to feed the beast. The leper had told her that Theo would be the one to kill the beast. Rafaela then gives Theo a locket containing stones that can ignite a fire. The beast suddenly appears, and Tyro bravely distracts it to protect Theo, but the beast quickly kills him too. It then starts chasing Theo, managing to snatch the locket from him. Theo pursues the beast and eventually retrieves the locket, using its stones to ignite a fire. The fire spreads rapidly through the cave. As the flames grow, Theo and Rafaela jump into a nearby water pool to escape. The fire destabilizes the cave's structure, causing the upper portion to collapse and injure Deucalion. Rafaela and Theo emerge from the water and find Morna. They all make their way out of the cave. Once outside, Rafaela kills her brother, Deucalion, and orders the soldiers to remove their masks, telling them they are now free. In the end, everyone hails Theo as the shepherd who killed a god. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching and see you next time.